first. That would help. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we are not alone for a second day in a row. We have a guest. We got some company coming over.
Mm-hmm.
Today's guest is the host of the Mundane Festival podcast, actor of stage and screen, stand-up comedian, and friend, Christopher Adolphus Lamberth. What's going on, brother?
What's up, y'all? Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you, man.
Honored to be here.
How you been?
I've been doing all right. I've been TPS reports by day, stand-up by night, trying to meet a good black woman, a good, wholesome black woman. So,
I love to see it, man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, black women are in. Okay, Andrew Schultz, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Kendrick is bringing it back.
And I didn't grow my beard so when they hit me,
right?
They actually like it. They actually like pulling on it.
Right. I was trying to attract a black woman.
I'm trying to get them. They like facial hair. And
that was the thing. That was the part that really got lost in the Andrew Schultz conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Was how hacked the jokes were.
Yeah, he's I mean, he has garnered an audience for that, the low-hanging fruit type stuff, and I have not been a fan of the guy for a long time. But he just, it really wasn't about the song. Everybody with some sense knows that he was talking about the guys, those British dudes, and then the people that let him say the stuff that he says. They don't check him, so it's just it's
just funny. It's just funny because I don't get easily offended, right? But when I am like annoyed at something, when it's comedic, like controversy or whatever, it's normally I get mad about the hackness of it. Like way before I get to anything else. I'm just like, that's not even funny, or like I don't know. My comedic senses always kick in and like, but we've heard that joke 90. It's like and I don't mean to belittle the controversy, but when Dave Chappelle was doing trans jokes, I wasn't offended like on behalf of the community. I was like, I've heard these jokes from people who are not as funny as you,
right?
Yeah,
and you're way funnier than this. Like this ain't even like a spin on the other people's hack bullshit. It's just like, yo, and then a dick was floating around. I was like, oh, come on, man, you
be creative.
You raised some of the most iconic jokes of all time. I wasn't like measuring how right you were. I was just measuring how funny you were.
Yeah, I think I said a few weeks ago on my show, I think it might have been before the album came out. I was like, does anybody really know an Andrew Schultz joke? Like, if there's anybody that's any of the comedians that's been on the podcast or that's friends of this podcast, whether they're famous or not, I know a joke by this person. I know a joke that's funny. I know a joke that's funny by that person. So it's like it's about the skill.
Yeah,
if it was the low-hanging fruit, anybody could do that.
I 100% agree, and I don't know if it's the way I grew up in comedy, the way comedy is introduced to me. I go by if a special or a comedian is funny, like you say, by how many people are quoting, like specifically quoting the special and things that were actually hilarious and funny to them. Social media has kind of changed that. It's not about whether they were funny or not. It's not something, a lot of times not about if you like them or not. A lot of times for a lot of people, it's about how outraged can you be by what they said. And to me, that's not funny. Like you're cutting the context of funny out of it. So for some of the people, like, oh, I can't take your opinion if the shit is funny or not, because you're not going in looking at it going, how funny was it? You're going in with your arms folded, pouting, going, I'm going to be offended by anything you say that I don't already agree with.
Well, also, and there's that other kind of fan And I think this is like one of the traps of comedy right now is like there's some people who are, I think, scared to take the chance of just working on jokes and them not registering as funny to everybody. And they'd rather have the safety net of like fervent supporters of quote unquote freedom of speech, which isn't the same thing as actually being like, I think this person's very funny. Here, this is my favorite bit. Like there, we see that happen all the time. We've seen it happen to some really funny, great comedians. Just kind of go, yeah, but like if I kind of get on the, hey man, he has the right to say it. If you kind of get that guy as your fan, you'll never fail. Like you may never be considered the most successful or funniest comedian, but you ain't never got to worry about showing up and nobody's in the audience. Whereas I think it's almost cowardice, because if you just trying to write funny material and you can't build an audience, then it's like, damn, that's on me. Like I failed. But if you don't have that funny material, but you can look in that audience and be like, look, it's enough people showed up, you can always go, this is my success, even if no one really respects your comedic talent.
I agree. And also it's one of the, and like I said, this is my perspective on the outside looking in, Chris, before I go any further. For me, also, I feel if people think that you're funny, those are the people that's actually going to show up. Like if I say I'm going on the road, they're coming to wherever I'm at. A lot of these other people that we're talking about, they don't invest in the comedian. Mm-hmm. Like there might be people that go, rah, 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 you didn't offend me online. But if you put out a link saying, hey, I'm in your city, they're motherfucking not coming.
Well, that's the thing though. Some of them do. Like these like, I think there's a type of person that 50% of them voted for Trump. So there's a type of person right now that is trying to say something with their choices in entertainment to say, it's a message to us. Like, hey, I support, like when I seen Joe Rogan's stand-up special and people in the crowd were clapping at parts that weren't jokes. And I was like, oh, that's a statement to us. Like, this is our guy, and we actually want him to be a bit more conservative, and fuck you and your sensibilities, your city slicker or whatever. That person is a type of supporter of live comedy and stuff. Like, they support the podcast, they support all that stuff. And like I said, it's kind of cowardly to me, because that person not really supporting you as like your stand-up and your merit. They're supporting the idea of you. That was not the tangent we were planning on getting on when Chris said he was looking for a good black woman. That was completely not planned. And
as a non-comedian, I'm actually just throwing ideas out there. So I'm sorry, Chris.
You on the apps?
I go with it. What'd you say? I didn't hear you, Ron.
You on the apps, bro?
I am. Yeah, I was in a relationship that was like almost a year. And that ended like, I want to say in the spring, summer. And then I've just been back on and meeting people and stuff.
How's it going? Is this giving you dating material? Is it?
It is. Yeah. Okay. That's not what I'm doing it for. To do it is to be where you and Karen are. Or being something serious, but like not, it just happens. And I've been learning about myself where it's like I'm actually I'm not like I would not call myself a ladies' man, but I'm good with women. I'm nice to them. We can have a good time and all that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of insecurities that I had prior to trying to be serious about it, like working on something, has been eye-opening. And then there's things that I was afraid of with relationships, about maybe being immature. Maybe I know immaturity is probably one, being afraid to get hurt, and then just still
that's real
doing it. And I think just any type of thing, like if I liked a woman along maybe like 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh my God, she doesn't like me. And then I'll just be sad for 3 years and then not talk to anybody or just like throw myself into my career. But I think like anything, it just takes work. It just takes work, and meeting interesting people, and you're on the other end of somebody saying, well, women can say what they want and what they like and all that, and then I can do that too. I think that's learning too, like what I want or what I don't want to accept or things.
Yeah, I think the key to that is just don't start a podcast about it. You know, like you can have those feelings, but I think the new problem with those type of feelings is when and where and how people express them and the way people monetize them and stuff. And it's created this very toxic environment where like it's something as innocuous as like I like tall women or whatever is turned into like, so you understand that short women have to go through life whether we live
can't reach shit.
We live shorter than most long line people that's tall. We can't reach things on the top of the cereal aisle.
Come on.
And we also have to give up our tall men, our short men, because you are not as tall as you think, Chris. The average height is, like you got to go through that. Do you think a lot of Kendrick said, he wants somebody with some like real ass, and it was like, nigga, what? That's not a feminism. You got to be careful out here.
I found like with dating, like I like all types. Like I do like tall women. I don't mind, I don't mind them. I like all kinds of women. I like dark skinned women. I don't know. I like them all. Dark skin.
You can't. That's what I'm saying. It's a trick to say what you like.
Yeah.
Because you can like something that people be like, what? So you don't like blank women? Or you fetishizing this type of a person?
And you're like,
I said that. See, that's the thing. I've been peeping game.
But that's what happened.
The key is you don't never give any opinion, not good or bad. You just gotta be like, I like all kinds of people, and then hopefully when you go on the app, you just swipe the ones you like.
Right.
But you didn't tell nobody. You're not supposed to tell nobody, because that's the other thing that the internet will make people believe is like you should be dating people like to align with your politics, which sounds cool, except like I don't want anyone swiping on me because they're like, well, I don't want to look racist. Like, no, then if you're struggling with that, then don't swipe on me, nigga. I don't want them problems.
Nope.
Work that out amongst yourselves. So anyway,
I like them all. I mean, sometimes you don't know until it's presented to you. I guess I do kind of have a type, or I like tall women. I like dark skinned women.
You learn about yourself.
Like whatever. Right. Yeah, you do learn it, and that's a process. That's something I didn't really know until I started like really throwing myself into it. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
What's the best apps right now? Like, is it all still the same shit from like 10 years ago?
Right.
Like Tinder and all that.
There is Tinder. Just seems like I just don't care for Tinder. I think Hinge is I've had the most success on Hinge, and I've met a girlfriend that I kind of miss her a little bit, but I gotta, I met a woman that it just didn't work out, but I think she's a great woman, a great black woman, tall black woman. And that she was great. And then the other one, there's only one date that I would consider that was like
bad,
not, but she was it was one date that was kind of like no.
And so Hinge is the good one.
Yeah, to me,
away from Tinder. What about like Bumble and stuff?
Bumble is kind of weird because it's like I think if you pay for the app, I think you get more access. You can see, like with Bumble, with Bumble you could see who you have to pay to see who likes you. Otherwise, you're just kind of like swiping left or right, and if that other person liked you before, you can match with them. But yeah, it's kind of I have not gone out with anybody on Bumble ever. I've matched.
What about Christian Mingle?
No, I'm not on that. I've just done Bumble.
Right. And hey, I'm gonna tell you like a pastor told me. It be some hoes at church.
Okay.
They said that's what he told me. I said, all right, I'm gonna see you next Sunday.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's cool, dude. How's stand-up going?
Stand-up is going pretty well. I feel like I turning a corner artistically, that I felt like I was in a pretty good place in 2020, and then when early 2020 COVID happened, and I had to feel like I had to build that back up to where I'm confident enough to try new things, and I've just been feeling really good about it lately, and just like, getting past that, the Comedy Cellar was really good for me, and I just think you're working with a lot of people. Like I had to follow Michael Che a couple times. Well, one time, and instead of just like saying, "Oh, this is the best club in the world," I always have to do. I just felt like I'm not gonna go there and just try to make par. I want to score. I want to make birdie. Want to make eagle. So I felt like a couple weeks ago I had to do that, and I just said it to myself, and it was started to pay off. And then I'm just trying to work towards that, and be a little more, not necessarily risky, but just talk about the things that I feel are important to me, and that I think are funny also, because I'm not going to be up there like crying on stage, but I want to make people laugh. So yeah, it's just, I think I'm in a good place, and I hope to make an announcement within the next few months on your show about something that I want to do.
Okay.
So hopefully, what things are in the cooker. But other than that, right, I'm feeling really good about just where I'm at artistically.
And are you doing any auditions and stuff too as well? Because I know you also do movies and TV too.
Yeah, I've been auditioning for stuff. Haven't gotten anything yet, but yeah, I'm still in the running for, in the mix for being casting directors, knowing who I am and giving me opportunities. And I did have an audition for a play. I think it was about a month ago, that I did not book, but it was a in-person audition, and it felt good to go into this audition, and with not having auditioned for a play in a long time, and taking the director's notes and really delivering, and that was like, okay, that is worth the experience of going into the city and paying paying tolls, and paying for parking and not shitting the bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I was like, I felt good. I was like, oh, still got it. I still can do that.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. So that felt good. And I'm trying to just obviously you want to get jobs and you want to make money, you want to be successful, but I think right now what I have to rely on is the fact that yes, I can do this job, and then now it's like, what can I do to just push myself to get to the level that I want to get to artistically. So that's kind of what it's about now.
Well, I mean, it sounds like things are going good, dude. I love to hear it. I know the audition and stuff is tough because you gotta it's just getting up reps,
Yeah, right.
Like a lot of rejection, a lot of whatever, and then boom, you get something. It's like, oh, 6 months of my life, let's go, so that's cool.
Right. Yeah, fun. Yeah.
And then of course, stand up, man. I've seen as he's performed live, obviously in front of our audience for the Blackout Tips Live, but also, I've seen Chris do stand up when I was in New York. Very funny, man. And then just it's also like very you and genuine to it too, which I always find impressive, because I feel like that's a level for a lot of comedians. It just takes a long time to unlock. Where it's like,
their own voice.
Yes, I want to talk about. But it's truly the through line. Like, it's what makes every comedian, not every, but the vast majority of comedians, is really what makes them pop. Is like, you can't steal material, because that material is germane to Chris. And if it's coming out of someone else's mouth, I'm gonna be like, this don't fit the same. Whereas. So yeah, I really have enjoyed all that. And how's music and movies, we always talk about stuff like that. How you doing with the music? Like, what you jamming on? What's the album of the year? Like, what's going on with you?
Oh man, well, you guys were talking about, Tyler. I think that's one of the best albums of the year. I I think GNX, I've sat with it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That is that to me did something that for his catalog, I think prior to this, I think Damn was his most accessible and like commercial, where even though it was heavy and it was pretty, it's a dense album, but he has he's really great at being complex and being able to appeal to a general mainstream audience, almost like a Christopher Nolan does in film. But like GNX just, it works on a lot of levels, and I know it's a bit out less than a month, and it's just like that shit is just really good. I mean, I've been a fan of Kendrick for a long time, and I know we've reviewed him on Where's My 40 Acres and stuff, but like, yeah, it's really good. I'm a St. Vincent fan. I got my Apple Play, whatever it is, and I think that album was her oh my God, Chris, what's wrong with you? Her latest album, oh my God, wow, what the hell is wrong with me? I drove to Philly to see that show. That is so bad. I got to get this. You're gonna have to edit this out.
Okay, no, I'm leaving it in. Yeah, St. Vincent.
The new, I should know that. That is so bad. That is, oh my God. I'm not gonna beat my All Born Screaming is her latest album that came out in the spring, and that was my top album. I love her work, but I was surprised at that. That to me, like what she does too, and I think a lot of artists are doing this now, where a lot of these projects, whatever genre they're in, like if you notice some of your favorite artists, like a Tyler, who's become more personal, who was always like that, but Chromacopia was obviously the most personal project that he's done. Kendrick it's like I'm stripping things down, but I'm still giving you like this high quality work. And I think, and with All Born Screaming, Annie Clark, I think this is she self-produced this album, and it's tighter. I think I just start as a music listener. I kind of feel like I started noticing that with the Roots. I think like early on, maybe like I think that they did it with the Tipping Point, but I think the Tipping Point, I think Game Theory still came after it. But they were doing these projects that were like just kind of tight, not like under an hour, maybe 45 minutes, but just hitting you over the head. And you can replay it. The replay value is really good. So that's good. And Sky Zoo's album that just came out, Keep Me Company.
I knew Sky Zoo was gonna be in there because Sky Zoo stayed dropping.
Yeah.
And every year we had this conversation. Sky Zoo always got one that in your top for the year.
I think he's great. Like I saw him live. He did that From the Mind of a Saint project based on Snowfall, rapping from that perspective. And I thought, like, I was telling some guys a while back, where that album that he had, I think it's All the Beautiful Things, or whatever his project before the Saint project. I was like, oh, he finally put it all together. Like, he's always been really good, really talented, but it seemed like everything just kind of coalesced, and it was just like, wow, this is great. And then to top it was a project about a movie. I mean, a TV show, where it's like he's rapping from a perspective, where a West Coast perspective, where he doesn't really, he had to do a lot of things, and I thought that was really great. So this new project is just like, Jesus, man, he's on another level too. Like I think he's a generational talent. Tyler is, Kendrick is, as far as from the hip hop perspective, but like, I'm trying to think of other stuff like Toro y Moi. I like a lot. He released something. I thought Childish Gambino's album was good. It's very like, it's kind of all over the place in a good way, but I got to see him live, and I think from here on out, at least once a year, I want to go to one, like a big stadium show. Like I'd like to see Tyler. I'd like to see Kendrick live. But that, I was so glad that I saw Childish Gambino live because that was
I heard it was great live too, and then he had to like cut his tour short because of concerns. But yeah, I love him too. The last album did feel all over the place, and it felt to me like the thing about Donald Glover that I respect is he has so much talent that he tries everything because he's good. He's kind of good at everything, and if he's not good at something, then it's like it's still he's good enough to try. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so. The album kind of felt like I'm good at everything. I want to try a little bit of everything. And I don't know if it's my favorite Childish Gambino album, but because the others feel more conceptual and tighter packed. But I still enjoyed it as well. Karen, I know you were writing stuff down. Was you about to say something or? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, and I agree. I think at least musically, I think Tyler the Creator's Chromacopia might be my favorite album of the year. Which I didn't really see coming.
Me either. I didn't see coming, and it's one of the things where I've kind of talked about Tyler before. I found Tyler through the Lorder Squad show. And I didn't even know he performed. I didn't even know they was a band. I was like, oh, here's some black kids doing the skit on, Adult Swim. And it was funny as shit. And later on, I was like, oh, they're a band. And then later on, I was like, oh, one of the band members broke off named Tyler, the Creator. Who? And so after a while, I was like, oh, he can rap. And like that. And so I got into him kind of later on in his career. And so like these past few albums have been great, but this album right here, out of all the ones that I've heard, I'm not trying to find like this is his. I was like, nigga, you put your foot in this. This is like your best work because you can live. You literally, it's not the same, but this is how I feel about this Tyler album. It's similar to not this one, but the Renaissance album prior to this Beyonce's last album, where you literally could press play and you could listen and the songs would change, but it flowed so smoothly you literally wouldn't know what song you was on. That's kind of how I feel about this one. You press play and I'm on the first song and I'm on the third song and I'm on the fifth, like because the transitions are so smooth and so tight and like the beat flips and things like that and it just runs so smoothly, no skips. And so I really, really just liked how, like you say, it's compact, straightforward. This is what you're going to get out. And it's very, very replayable.
Yeah, he's in his bag. He's so personal. I love the growth. And I don't just mean growth in the social media sense of like, the growth. Where he's like almost apologizing for his past albums and something. It's not like that. It's like he always felt like this to me. Like he was holding up a mirror to himself, but it was like a window to the rest of the world. And it's like, here's the things. Like I'm shocking everybody. I'm funny. But in that time before, I always felt like his first few albums, like he was half trolling.
He was.
Like, see that, like I'm gonna say this thing because I look up to people like Eminem. I look up to Eminem, but I also troll Eminem, that kind of attitude. And then this album, it feels the most like him trying to get through the core of like, because he's growing up, of just like what motivates him. And, the song where he talks about looking like his father, but his father not being in his life and how that complicates his relationship with his mother. It's just like, it's just one of those things where it's catchy, but it's also good, but it's also reflective. The way his mind works when he tells all those stories on Take Your Mask Off, and it's 4 different perspectives. Like he really is on that next level that artists try to get to, but so many fall off before they get there. And he's so self-aware. Like even when he was like the best in the city next to Kenny, and I'm just like, how fucking self-aware, because it's not like he didn't need to bring up Kendrick Lamar at all, but he's like such a fan of Kendrick while also being a fucking beast.
The beast himself.
And like the fact that he show that love and not feel insecure about it. Like, because so many other rappers that are just, you never say somebody else is better than you or whatever. But he like, and it still bangs. So like, yeah, I love the Tyler album. I really do think it's my album of the year. I know we got a little time left, but yeah, GNX would have been the only other thing I think could have knocked it out.
Agreed.
And GNX is like just a hair short for me. That's it. Like, it's just a hair.
Yeah.
Because I still bump that shit every day too. But damn, that Tyler be growing on me. He said something this time. And
yeah, it's almost like he had a statement to make.
Yeah, I really respect it.
Yeah. I think he's kind of been on a run since like Flower Boy. And like I went back and listened to that. I was on a road trip and I was like, wow, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he kind of came out of the closet on the, what is that record? Garden Shed. Mm-hmm. But even though that, you know, obviously he's always been somebody who like was open and vulnerable, but it's like, as just production wise and like going back to he had a great tiny desk, you know. Mm-hmm. You go back to
his stage presence and performance is also elite too.
Mm-hmm.
It's next level.
Like, I love Kendrick's stage presence and performance too, because it's very conceptual and thought out, and it's almost like watching like a spoken word act out as well as rap.
Yeah.
But then especially when Call Me If You Get Lost came out, Tyler's stage performance it's on some other like star shit. The performance, I think he may have done at the BET Awards, but it could have been another show, where it's the wind blowing him and he's like driving up in the car and he's using his body as he's rapping, by the way, not lip syncing. He's using his body like he's fighting against the wind that's and still rapping. And I'm like, wait a minute, I think I'm watching like, you know, I think I'm watching like Wimbiana go from, oh yeah, he's 20 points a game to like 37 points a game, 17 rebounds, 16 you know, like when you just like, God damn,
double.
You doing this all season?
I feel like and that's immediately what I thought of when you mentioned his stage presence and his performing, where like it's almost like, to me, he's almost like the next evolution of a Busta Rhymes, where you listen to his delivery, he's supposed to be rapping. Like, it's like, that's what he's supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And it's just like,
I saw Busta Rhymes in a Walmart commercial today. And and you know what I thought? This motherfucking commercial is jamming.
Yes, sir.
Like that motherfucker's just supposed to be a rapper. He wouldn't even make sense for other shit in his life. Like, just you meet a dude like that, and you're like, why aren't you behind a microphone right now, sir?
One of my first concert experience with Prince in '96 at what used to be the where the Wizards / Bullets played, the MCI Center in Landover, Maryland. But when I got to college, I saw Busta Rhymes at Gettysburg College, and he just like, this had to be extinction level event era Busta Rhymes, and it was crazy. It was amazing.
Yeah.
He said, "What's up, you Gettysburg, Pennsylvania fucks?"
He's a rock star, man.
I'll never forget that. It was so much fun. He was great.
All right, let's talk a little black quarterback talk.
Okay, let's do it.
You still on that narcotic? You still on the black quarterbacks, or how's that working out?
I still am.
Okay, because good. I'm glad you are. I was hoping you say yes. Have you seen the redemption of one Bryce Young?
I like it, man. Yeah, I'm happy about that, because I'm happy for you guys down in Charlotte. You know, like I just think it needs time. I think it's such a mic.
To quote our dear friend Bob, out of the league, Young. They was trying to get him out. It was so bad.
Boo him out the front door.
It was so bad. The aforementioned Bob he's one of the people on Twitter that was like, he's sorry.
Yeah,
like he gave up on him. I don't even know
he's
if he's
quick to jump ship on black quarters. I love him. Quick,
but he's gotta protect him. He gotta protect his mental. So
I understand.
but man, it feels good, is they got them a new coach. They got who got desperate for his job. And they sat him for like a couple games, and
so he can watch and not be out there fucking running around
for the first time. And I'm so surprised so many NFL teams throw these first round draft picks straight into the fucking fire.
Yeah.
For them to get ate up.
Because like I do understand some have been very successful, and you do look up and you're like, oh, this guy managed to get 8-9 wins in his first season in the NFL. But that is so rare.
Yes.
And it just seems like there's a much higher success rate when you bring a person in who kind of gets a chance to look, just a chance of see how you run a film room in the professionals. So like watch another guy go through tape, like without you having to be the one taking the hit, because you're like, when you're learning about protection on the field, you know what that means? You getting hit, because every time your ass get hit, you learn. I watched that with Caleb, the number one draft for the Bears this year, another black quarterback. And bro, those first games just look like he was learning literally on the field. And I'm like,
right,
why did y'all think this is a good idea? So it's been good to see Bryce get redeemed. Jameis is the most entertaining.
Him and Jesus
for your Jesus Jameis for your dollar gotta be the most entertaining quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he is. It's just a fine line because of his and it's not because of the crab legs. It's just because of what do the people say online now? The SA accusation, and it's like, ooh, when they talk about Deshaun, and it's just like, you kind of want to neuralize people a little bit. Like, you guys don't remember that. Just let them.
I said this on our sports show, but Bomani has a concept, quarter black. Yeah, when you have a black up to your quarter black. Yeah. So basically, if y'all that don't know sports, if you have a quarterback and you have a black one, you need to go get a backup who is also black, because racism so messed up.
Fan base.
Racism so messed up in America. White fans will yell to take a black quarterback out of the game the first time he makes a mistake, just to get that white backup in the game. Every black person that loves sports has experienced,
and they could be terrible. They don't give a fuck.
We saw it with when we were in Charlotte. We went to a game, and I want to say Cam Newton was in, and the backup was like, I forget who the backup was. It was either like Winky or Delhomme or something. I forget what it was.
So bad.
But they just kept yelling like, "Put in Winky!"
I was like, it was Winky,
and it was like a preseason game. It was like it's like, what the fuck are y'all talking? You want to take the starting quarterback out in the preseason game where you only get to see him for a quarter to put in the backup white man? No one wants to deal with that.
Right.
I want to say one thing, then I want to ask the two of you about Charlotte.
Hold on, I wasn't done.
Okay.
Hold on.
Good. Okay.
Thing is, Jameis wasn't just a quarterback that was a black up. I also feel like he was an SA back. I feel like he was a backup where they was like, if you were supposed to look at the freaky man and be like, take his ass out the game, I stand and support women. I will not be party and parcel to this. Take this buffoon out of the game and put in the backup who is it's
I don't see.
Leave him in. Leave him in.
Is he the black Ben Roethlisberger without the success?
Jameis?
Yeah. Or he didn't do it when he was in the league.
Is that us admitting that Deshaun Watson is one of one, the GOAT of all time?
Because I don't want to be the black guy that's like, why can't we rape like white guys rape?
Right.
I don't want to be that. But
I think Jameis is his own category. Here's why.
Okay.
I've never seen anyone successfully do what Jameis is doing as hard as he's doing, which is lean on the everlasting Lord so hard
And then it out real hard.
It has become honestly like okay to like him. It's something that you wouldn't think would work because people are so cynical now that you would think everyone would every time you're only saying that because they don't even say that no more. They just be like, I love it. I've seen the staunch feminists on Sports Center. I love Jameis. Oh my God. This guy is so good. And I was like, working. The Lord thing works.
It works.
The neuralize, young. The Lord, it's like you be on Showtime at the Apollo, you be doing bad singing a secular song, and then you start getting booed. You be like, Jesus, you're the center of my joy.
They can't boo Jesus.
Chris, I made this exact analogy on the show. I texted Bomani this a couple of days ago. Okay. Where I was just like, buddy, do you know what Jameis is? Jameis is the football version of singing gospel at the Apollo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice. I literally said that, dude. I said he don't, because you can't, everybody know you don't boo gospel.
Right.
But gospel ain't gonna win. Okay. Gospel ain't never won from just coming because it's always someone that it would get booed. It's always like they start with that preamble, like when I was a kid, before my mama passed, she just passed. She told me she had her favorite song, and I used to sing it to her on her deathbed. And I'm just gonna sing it one time for you at the Apollo. If y'all would just let me hear me out, this is a dream. She loved this show. I'm like, this motherfucker doing a lot of talking for the singing portion. And then she got the whole world in hand. He got and you can't boo because now you booing the dead mama. You doing, you booing the Apollo. You booing. That's Jameis with this Jesus shit, dog. You can't, like, if it wasn't for all the Jesus, we would be on TV every time he played. Like, this nigga threw 5 picks and 5 touchdowns. This is untenable. The coach has to see him. There has to be a better option. But he get in that motherfucking interview and he be like, Lord Jesus, please allow us to bow our heads. If you could just deliver me from the sin of pick sixes, Lord, why do I'm so faithful. I'm your strongest supporter. Servants. I'm your strongest servant, but I know you give only the battles we could take, but these pick sixes are the strongest battle. I don't know if I can make it, Lord. What is the next question?
I need your guiding hand.
What's the next question from the press? Like, that is him. Yeah, we can't, and you can't boo that.
You say nothing.
What you gonna say, James? We also want to ask about your maturity off the field, and if you learned those lessons with. Let's just talk about these pick sixes, okay? How grateful I am to play this.
Because it seems like he's probably changed. Like I still have. I like him. I want to see him. We got to give people grace, and I think maybe he really has. But like, it is still funny to just talk shit though.
Hey, okay, so hold on. Speaking of black quarterbacks, did your racism sense tingle at all with this Jalen Hurts Philadelphia controversy where his receivers is going in the press talking shit about the passing being a problem with the game? Because the ghost of McNabb jumped out on me. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I said, y'all wouldn't be talking about the white man like this. No, if it was Derek Carr throwing them fucking picks, the wide receivers don't be out there acting like they could just challenge the white man. Right. But that was like my third eye was open, so I don't know if that's even true.
No, I mean, they always do that, and they never give these black quarterbacks grace. It's always the shit talking about McNabb. The motherfucker's not even playing anymore. They're throwing him under the bus. They do not do that for these white quarterbacks.
Right.
Geno Smith.
I think T.O. heard you. I think he heard what you said because
he
tweeted Brett Favre today and
I was surprised about that.
Hey, they must, you know what it was? Twitter was probably all in his motherfucking mentions like, you wouldn't be doing this to the white man. And T.O. was like, oh, I love to do this to the white man. Point me to the white man.
What happened?
Brett Favre tweeted some bullshit, and then T.O. quote tweeted him being like, what you need to be worried about is that motherfucking money you misappropriated.
Yeah. Right. I was like, whoa. And he used misappropriated. Not that I didn't think T.O. wasn't smart, but it was just like, oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah, he knew how not to get sued.
A little bit of legalese.
What about Patrick Mahomes as a black quarterback, knowing he's married to MAGA?
Give him a break, Rod.
Okay, all right. He's just a kid. Just a kid.
Give the GOAT a break. I mean, he's a black quarterback. He married a white woman.
Yeah, and he let her be MAGA. So that is what they do.
With him, you know, if he's gonna be there, he's just gonna be there. Let him keep racking it up and racking these, because it's like they could probably win again. They'll probably win it again. You never know. What I did want to say, I wanted to say now with the influx of these black quarterbacks, I had to pick a team, so I have to go with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders,
of course,
because of what he's done for that city. And I know the homies on the Firestarter show are talking about it too, like how he's galvanized that city. Seems like a nice kid. I watched that LSU series with the football is with all the different athletes at LSU getting into NIL and stuff. It's on Amazon Prime. But he seems like a cool kid. He has so much poise, and he's he was at a Wale concert, and Wale was going crazy, obviously, as Wale does. And but Jaden was just so cool. He's just so cool. So much poise in the pocket. Even that Hail Mary throw that he made, touchdown, he was just like, he was happy, but he was just like, all right, I did that. So let's move on. So I like him. I like him a lot, man.
Me too. He's the next young guy. And he was putting up crazy numbers like too long ago when they was putting up out of wins. All right, let's talk about some other stuff.
Can I say one thing? I wanted to ask you and Karen about this because I want to know how you guys feel about Cam Newton. Maybe he's not a Hall of Famer. Okay. Why is there so much like disrespect for him? It seems. I just feel like where his place in the NFL, it just seems weird. Is it because of his like? Is it because I don't know? It just feels, something feels off to me. Am I wrong for feeling this way? And like, is he respected in Charlotte? I mean,
I feel like Cam is respected just the right amount. It's perfect. It's perfectly fine exactly where he is, where everyone thinks he was good. Everyone realizes that he's the best quarterback the Panthers have ever had.
Agreed.
And the thing is, the Panthers did nothing but favors for him after he left by being sorry as shit. So the last good memory we have is attached to Cam Newton.
Yep, them going to Super Bowl.
So I think he's like, at least here in Charlotte, I think he's perfectly like placed. And even with the people that like have gripes with him, I think it's fair gripes. Like, they're not unfair gripes. It's,
right.
You know, like, oh, his passing should have been better or some shit. Like, I wish he got that fumble or whatever the fuck. Like, okay, that's fair. We didn't win the Super Bowl with him. I get it. It's not like we're saying he's perfect, but he's damn better than anything we've had since. And hopefully Bryce Young will actually pan out, because we're getting more victories now. Which is still losses, but there are more victories, and I'm taking them. Everyone, I'm like, ooh, 3 points down to the Chiefs. I see you, young fella.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw, that makes me feel better, but I just saw one time on his podcast where he was talking about how he didn't get invited to something in Germany or something, or like
Christian McCaffrey's wedding. But Christian McCaffrey went on Instagram and was like, motherfucker, you don't want to be big time in me.
I DM'd you and you didn't answer back.
Which makes sense, because Cam definitely is the type of nigga that don't be checking his DMs and messages and shit. I guarantee you. But here's the thing you can't get confused about, though, because it can be a little confusing.
All right.
A lot of the disrespect to Cam is about how Atlanta of a nigga he is now. Like, it's not about his playing. It's like people see him pop out with that motherfucking Mary Poppins outfit on and shit. You can only pull that off so many times, and it's almost impossible to pull off once you stop playing. So like, you got a lot of people that are just like clowning him, and I think it's crossed over into like a cultural level of dismissal that is not warranted, because the man was he was like that on that football field. Okay, he was one of the ones.
6'6".
But when you see this motherfucker looking like he about to take you on a tour of the chocolate factory, it's like, hey, big dog, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I can look you the same way as I look at the other great quarterbacks. So I think that's what's hurting him. You know, going on First Take and arguing with Stephen A. You know, that type of stuff is. I don't think it's like helping his place in the game because people don't take that too seriously. When you look at what he got on, it's just hard to take him serious. It's like if Charles Barkley
didn't cut his hair, Rod.
All right. Let's talk about some other real quick. Those other news, guys. Okay.
Oh, but
before that, Karen, your turn.
Yeah, but before we go on, and not too much with Bryce Young. I remember when Cam Newton was coming up, and these motherfuckers. This is one reason why I don't listen to a lot of sports radio. These motherfuckers here in Charlotte was like, don't pick him as number 1. I forgot who the number 2 was, but they was like, pick him as number 2. And I motherfucking love the Carolina Panthers. I look Roger in his eye. I say, if they don't pick Cam Newton as number 1, fuck them. Like, I literally said that. I was like, if they don't pick him as number 1, I will denounce being a Carolina Panthers fan, because I was like, that would be the dumbest thing that we would ever have done. He been balling somewhere else. I was like, don't listen to these racist ass white folks calling it into these fucking radio shows. They don't know what they're talking about.
And they was just out there, and it didn't make any fucking sense. Like that, it was like, so if we could trade the number 1 pick and then pick the other quarterback, the white one. And I'm thinking like, so why do you think someone would be willing to trade to get the number 1 pick? Right. Who do you think they're going to pick? It's not like they were going, oh, we can trade down and he'll be there later. They was like, just trade the number 1 pick, which would definitely be Cam Newton. I was like, this is the dumbest, easiest decision I've ever seen in my life. But I'm glad they did the right thing. Shout out to Jerry Richardson, or Mr. Richardson, as he likes to be called. Hopefully the new owner, hopefully he was right about Bryce and he'll get the stunt. Because other than that, he's been a terrible owner. So, like, if it turns out that Tepperfield was right about Bryce, that he let his wife make that draft pick, you know what? For the first time, I would not mind him stunting on us. He earned that stunting on us. Just like if Michael Jordan wanted to do a victory lap around the city of Charlotte after countermanding everyone and making us draft Brandon Miller.
Yes.
I'd be like, yeah, they've been talking shit about you for years, homie. You did your big choice when you picked Brandon Miller. So go ahead and tell everybody they ain't shit. All right. Now we can get to some other news.
Thank you. I had to get that off my chest because, child, I was warm. Like, I was like, the fuck is this, y'all?
It's just, it's mostly just conversational anyway. But when Chris Lamberth is in the building, there's certain segments I like to get to because I don't always, know all these people. But
I know Chris be at home going knowing exactly who we talking about. Me and Roger looking at each other. You know who it is?
Like,
I don't know who it is.
Here we go. Let's do some white people news.
All right.
White people news. Exciting to the barbecue. We might be problematic or a little bit. Let's go really hard.
Oh, that was weird. Sound went out on my side. Anyway, white people news. Let's see if Chris knows these whites. Well, here's one of my patron saints of whiteness, and so I know this one. And looks like I'm about to be on one again, everybody, because I always defend this perfect pure white angel. Taylor Swift,
what's up?
Gave a whopping $197 million in bonuses to Era's tour performers and crew on top of their salaries.
Whoa. She taking care of her people, because all jokes aside, I know a lot of the blacks don't give a fuck about what that white lady doing, but that bitch was traveling all across the fucking country. All across the goddamn country. The world. Selling out football stadiums. Them white women in there was making the fucking city shakes. They was like, is it an earthquake? No, bitch. Taylor Swift is in town. So she was like, y'all took care of me and made me $1 bazillion. I gonna pay y'all.
She paid over out of $197 million in bonuses to everyone worked on the tour, including truck drivers, caterers, instrument techs, merch team, lighting, sound, production staff, and assistants, carpenters, dancers, band, security, choreographers, pyrotechnics, riggers, hair, makeup, wardrobe, physical therapists, and video team.
If you was on the list, she said, pay them.
Wow.
Because she probably kept the same team the whole time. She was like, hey, y'all away from y'all family, y'all loved ones traveling all around the fucking world with me. I don't blame them. If I had money like that, I would take care of you. If you got a credit, pay them.
Yeah, someone on Twitter, but I can't confirm that this is true. It was just a story someone told where they like quote tweeted the article and was like, my dad was a truck driver on the tour and came and told me, son, you going to college or some shit like that. And I was like, even as like a joke, that is funny as shit. Well, I don't know if it's true, but
look at him like, this is a Tay fund. Your college is paid for.
Yeah, but
Miss
yeah,
Taylor,
man.
thank you, Miss Taylor.
Right. Taylor Swift sending you to school.
Yes, she is. And you know, I bet you it was probably all walks of life that actually worked for her. So it's a lot of people that benefited from that.
Next, Chris Rock storms out in the middle of a comedy set at billionaire's party.
What happened?
It was a comedy set at Anthony Pratt's Christmas party. He's 50. The 59-year-old comedian did a surprise set at the party. However, his set was cut short after he joked, our new push will be out of space. We put all the Mexicans on rockets. The Post Cindy Adams, who attended the soiree, said Rock saw something the audience did not, and it upset him. He shouted he wasn't supposed to be taped, videoed, reported, or whatever else wasn't supposed to happen. He then barreled out quickly and forcefully through people through the exit doors without explaining why. Without a second's hesitation, he stormed out, never to return. So it sounds like maybe they weren't supposed to be recording this set.
Oh, they was like, yeah, we'll be there, but we don't want this recorded. He probably working out new material or some shit. He was like, hey, I'm just gonna be edgy because I know I'm not being recorded.
Well, honestly, let me give you. This is how you know it was a rich people party and they mad he left. Because the article didn't need to leave the obvious setup to a joke he was doing that was involved in that. Because you know it's not the punchline. The joke, Chris Rock's never making a joke that's just Mexicans, ha ha.
Right.
It's like, so that's fucked up that they was like, oh, this nigga just left. Okay, leave the Mexican part in there. Don't explain shit. Just make it seem like he just racist against Mexican people out of nowhere for no reason. He's just in here tap dancing for race.
That's what people wanted to say, because that's what people are saying online. That's why Will was right for slapping him.
Right. Stupid. They need to do a movie together at this point.
Yeah, they should.
Just to make every side
out of the hell of it.
Every side be mad as hell.
Yeah, they would.
Why is he with him?
And I would.
Go ahead, Karen.
I will pay my $25 and smile.
Yeah.
And people were saying that's why Denzel and Sam Jackson went over to Will instead of Chris after he got slapped, because they knew.
Right. Man, Twitter hate Chris Rock.
Yeah, they do.
They really act like this nigga was never funny, and I'm sorry, I refuse to.
I would never bow, slap me and act like I didn't see what I saw.
Never. You know, the new thing is, and I get why they're doing it, but Urkel, Jaleel White went and did an interview, and I have the clip. I'll play it in a second. You know,
cool.
It's still white people news. What am I doing? Reagan, the musical, has been pulled after controversial breakdancer calls in the lawyers. Not a Drake. She pulled a Drake on their ass.
How you gonna do the music? I guess you did do a musical because ain't no dancing.
It was shut down hours before it was due to open on Saturday after lawyers representing the athlete threatened legal action. Steph Broadbridge, an Australian comedian who wrote and intended to star in Ray Gun, the musical, said in a video posted on Instagram that the breakdancers' lawyers got in touch with the venue and threatened legal action. In his debut performance at Sydney venue Cancelas, the parody musical intended to retell the story of Australian breaker Rachel Gunn, widely known as Ray Gun, whose performance at the Paris Olympics spawned countless memes on social media.
Great comedy.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be a straight up comedy. It's like, bitch, you know you did that, right? You know you did that shit, right? You were terrible.
The comedian said they were worried I was damaging her brand, which I would never do. They were very concerned that people would think that Rachel Gunn was affiliated with the musical. I wanted to assure everyone that she will not be part of the show. She's very welcome to come. I would love for her to see it. And the tickets are only $6.45.
Sounds like something that would be like a black box, like small theater where they like a UCB or something like that.
Right. So they're pretty litigious. They shut down the $6 tickets. Like, hey.
And my thing, what brand? You got a zero. What are we talking about here? What kind of stellar reputation are we trying to uphold?
Yeah, she added that Gunn's lawyers trademarked the musical's poster, which featured a silhouette of the breakdancer's famous kangaroo hop, and said she couldn't perform that dance as Gunn owns it. Dog, first of all, bitch, how you gonna take your white ass over into here appropriating and then start trademarking bullshit that we junking on you for? That's fucked up. That feels like ultimate white privilege right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm so bad at dancing, I'm gonna become rich. Oh my God. Oh, just messing up the art. Ray Gun. Girl, no one is ever whited as white as this.
Right.
Sydney Sweeney. You know who she is?
That's an actress.
Euphoria. Yep.
Euphoria. Sydney Sweeney shows off incredible bikini body while soaking up sun at $13 million Florida Keys mansion.
Oh, shit now.
Now, one thing about Sydney Sweeney, she gonna let them girls out. Okay? She wants y'all to know. She was cozying up with her fiance, Jonathan Davino, at the lavish abode, sporting a stylish swimsuit while lounging underneath the warm sunshine ahead of Christmas holiday. She donned a purple patterned bikini top as well as the skimpy matching bottoms during the relaxing day. There she is, relaxing in her. She got naked and she got a bikini on. We need to see. We need to know.
Oh, of course we got to see.
This is news to them.
Sorry, Dr. Umar. Sorry, bro.
Yeah. Dr. Umar not even a real doctor.
I know.
Build that school, Dr. Umar.
She was like,
he would understand though.
Yeah, he probably. Well, I don't think he would understand, to be honest. I've been watching some of his stuff on TikTok, and he's still keeping that same energy on these white ladies.
Did y'all ever see the video where a guy was trolling him with a white girl? They meet Dr. Umar, and he's like, "I want to introduce you to my girlfriend," and it was a white girl.
Yeah,
so good.
That's hilarious.
So good, man, dude. We were so far down the rabbit hole. I saw a TikTok video where Dr. Umar spoke for like 6 minutes, and I agreed with every word and had to turn it off. I was like, nah. The algorithm can't know I watched this one.
Please send that to me.
I'm scared because that's how they get you.
Yep. Then you're gonna be flooded with shit.
I agree with every fucking word this man said. Like, I was like, God damn, he's spitting, and it kept going longer, and it kept being more shit I agree with. I was like, okay, man, am I tripping? Is this how they sneak it?
You gotta send this to me, man. I don't care.
All right, after the show, I'll send you a link to the alkaline water that I ordered, and how to send a cashier check to the school. I'll send you that too, because he got me. I was about to send it to my friends. I had to catch myself. Katie Price taunted me about shouting other men's names when we were in bed. She got a kick out of it, reveals Carl Woods.
I know neither one of these people. I'm assuming he's an actress. I don't know who that other person is.
Katie Price and Carl Woods.
No, I don't know them.
Okay, well, one is a maths star, MAFS capital. I don't know what's. And Carl has also gave his thoughts on how long her relationship with math star JJ Slater would last. Oh, so I guess she's moved on from him to be with a guy who whatever maths is. I guess a TV show.
I'm assuming so.
She's being with him. This is very white news. I didn't even know that I was getting something this white. I'm sorry. Katie Price taunted boyfriend Carl Woods by saying other blokes' names in bed. He has revealed. Oh, he told us.
Oh,
why would you tell us?
Oh, it's Married at First Sight. MOFS.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was a show about black people trying to learn algebra.
That's bad. Like we can't spell, Rod.
I'm racist too. Right, guys.
Some of this self-hate.
She was also obsessed with younger men, and he once caught her FaceTiming a 23-year-old footballer. Man, why is he telling us this? Is this our new man, or what? Who are the pictures of these white people? These don't even look like the same white people from here.
Did he go get a tan too?
They look like AI.
Don't they? This is a filter, right?
Yeah, that's a
filter. These niggas look like they Pixar characters.
Don't they know?
They're good-looking people. Why do they have to do those filters?
Right. Why are their teeth so white? They're like Sims.
They do look like Sim characters, don't they?
I guess this is them in a premiere or something. Okay. Carl 35 said, twice in bed, she called me another fella's name. I pulled her up on it. She got a mental kick out of saying it and then pretending it was role play. She would do weird things to get into my head. Damn, Carl. She played you.
Yeah, she did.
Carl, who was engaged to the TV personality, now 46, told The Sun on Sunday he believed she cheated on him with 4 men. And he said what was it at the same time? Or he said she broke her feet in a fall in Turkey as she stormed off when he confronted her about texting a Premier League star. In the second part of our exclusive interview at his Essex home, he predicted her new relationship with reality TV star JJ Slater was doomed. Damn. Carl sounds like he a hater to me. All right. We'll do some. What was the thing I was gonna do? We had just talked about fucking with black people.
No, Jaleel.
Yeah, that's what it's in.
Okay.
It's fucking with black people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let me play the fucking with black people music. Pull that up real quick.
Boom, 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 boom. Hey, we're just fucking with them people because they black. We're just fucking with them people because they black. We're just fucking with them black people. We're just fucking with them blacks. We're just fucking with black people. Hey, hey, you
are the very talented vocal stylings of Felt 5. Let's talk about this thing here. Jaleel White. You may know him as Urkel. Well, he went on some podcast or Wilmington Library show or something and was getting interviewed, and he started talking about Family Matters place amongst, the black sitcoms of the era.
Okay.
Being a part of the TGIF brand sometimes makes you feel like you don't completely belong in the pantheon of blackness. Blackness has been treated as a very monolithic experience in entertainment. If it's not a hood story, it's not a black story. And, sometimes I feel left out of that, so it's like, like if there's ever a poll and they say, oh, what are your favorite black shows? And, Martin is in there or Living Single or any of those kinds, I already know we coming in last. But if there's ever a poll and it's just like your favorite family shows and suddenly Martin's not in there or whatever, all of a sudden we rank really high. And so it's kind of interesting in how we look at ourselves, to be quite honest, even as Black folks. And somehow I became a symbol for Black male nerd culture, to be quite honest. I mean, I know this for a fact. Any brother that grew up in the 80s and 90s, well, 90s and 2000s, wearing glasses, he was told at school he looked like me. He was called Urkel. And he didn't look anything like me, guaranteed. But still, his peers would find a way to call him Urkel, and even girls to that extent. So it's really humbling to see how far nerd culture has come. And really, it's not nerd culture; it's smart culture. It's hobbyist culture. It's skateboarders. And I could never have known in a million years that I would be the face of that. Never.
All right. Karen, 0 to 100. How fucked with do you feel by Jaleel White's comments?
I actually really did love Family Matters. Like, I actually love all of the shows. And also, I do think that particularly, like we talk about on social media and all this stuff, it skews a lot of stuff, because if you listen to social media, nobody liked Martin, nobody liked the Jamie Foxx show, nobody liked nothing. And they go, well, this shit is not true, y'all. Like these shows were not number one at the time and have some of the highest rankings of the time because nobody was watching them outside of white people. And to an extent, I can also see how some of this could screw with his mind, because just like you said, being on TGIF is different than being on some of them other channels that other people's on. He was really, really young, like a child at that time. So I could see his perspective feeling a certain way and him feeling somewhat ostracized due to that, like from a child's perspective due to that, and hearing how people may have been talking about him, how we talked about him, kind of as some people as a collective, but we always talk about people in a jokeful manner. Like we don't, a lot of times joking for us is a form of love, but some people take that jokingness, I've realized this, and they internalize it and they ball it up, and all of a sudden they become some of these people who go, Black people didn't like me. Something's wrong with Black people. Now, some people are mean. Don't get me wrong. Some Black people are very mean. But for the most part, we don't mean it in that manner. And I want to see those polls he's seen. I want to see who were they talking to. Because if you were talking to us, that poll is different than when you're talking to white people.
All right.
Like, so for me, yeah. I'm gonna give this about a 50, because I'm not 100. Take them out and hang them, because to an extent, I do understand like that pressure and things getting thrown at you, and you might not be prepared for, because you have to realize he was a child actor. Yes, he's an adult now, and your views are different. But like I say, I actually want to hear this, maybe just me, this entire conversation, so I can get a better view of actually what he's trying to say, and then I could get, my score might go up or down. But right now it's like a 75. Just I'm a little annoyed, but not like annoyed.
So you say 50?
Yes.
All right. What about you, Chris? What would you give it?
I mean, maybe like 15%. I watched the whole thing because I had actually listened to his audiobook about a week or two ago, and I really enjoyed it.
He did it in an Urkel voice, or he did it in his regular voice?
He did. Sometimes he did, I think, to make a point, but for the most part, it was just his regular speaking voice. But I thought it. I really enjoyed the book, and I think we're at an age now where the stuff we grew up with, you're having people that those artists that were in those positions are now speaking on their life. And I thought it was really good at his perspective, talking about coming up, being Black. Like Karen said, I watched all of that shit.
Me too.
All of it.
I was in.
I remember when he transformed to Stefan and how like that was so cool, and the baby face song, "This is for the cool in you." He walked out, was dancing with Laura. I was like, yes, he's got her finally. So
didn't he also get his own show brand? Like they try to branch off and have his own show. I don't think it lasted long, but I remember them talking about it in the works.
I don't know if he got his own show, but I want to say Family Matters became his own show basically.
Yeah, it was.
It ran for like 9 or 10 years. Like it was a that was a good fucking run.
Mhm.
Longer than a lot of those shows that he named, the other shows that people like. Like they got
a lot longer run. Yes.
Yeah, I think maybe there is. I can understand his. He doesn't come across as bitter in his book, but I think he feels some kind of way about it. Like the community doesn't fully accept him, but niggas love. Like he did that in Delaware. That was taped in Delaware at the Delaware Library. It was black people was out there supporting him.
So I have a theory on how this is unfolding.
Yes, go.
I agree with both of y'all, by the way. First of all, I think it's all social media. Social media does too much with the like. This wasn't like I saw as backlash to his comments. People started saying no. The reason people didn't like your show is because it wasn't funny, and nobody liked it because it was a white respectability show. Blah blah. And I'm like, number one, that's not true. The show it felt and was black. As much as people go up for dark skin Aunt Viv, I feel like Harriet was the real, like that was black love too. And I don't know why people don't mention that because they don't like her fits or whatever.
Right.
But that was a black love story. Two, the Cosby's was very respectable. And that is definitely on the Mount Rushmore of black TV for people. You can't just take it away, so like it wasn't that it was a respectable show. I think it just happened to come along at a time when because it lasted so much longer, it was competing with every black show.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah,
like when it was like Martin and Living Single, it wasn't like it was Martin Living Single and everything else and the Cosby's and this and it. It's like everything had a Thursday night. Yeah. Everything had like an era.
You brought a good point, Roger. It outlasted
so it would have been up against and things that are shorter normally have a higher place in the heart anyway because they ended.
Agreed.
So like you're going up against Martin, you're going up against Living Color, you're going up against Living Single, you're going up against The Fresh Prince, you're going up against every other black show that we watched in that
Jamie
time
Foxx
period.
Show,
and so it's not going to be everyone's favorite, but I will say this. It was still iconic, and I hate the revisionist history because people got so mad at him that they were saying that the show no one liked it, and I'm like, no, it was one of the shows that you knew. Like, if you were the kind of kid I was at school, we would come to school quoting the best jokes and stuff from the night before, and if you missed it, you was out of the loop.
Yes, you
on
was.
all the black shows like Martin, Living Color, Living Single, Jamie Foxx, Wayans, like everything. It was like
show.
It was like, oh, you didn't watch last night, so you don't even get this joke. What the fuck's going on in your house?
Right.
So I think Family Matters was one of those ones, and I also think, and this is why I say it comes to social media on both sides. I think he recently got engaged or married to like a white lady.
Yeah,
I saw people leaving some very fucked up comments. Now, maybe he said something inartful in the past. I don't know.
Me either.
But what I do know is if someone posts their fucking engagement photo and white people and black are cool with it and black people are leaving fucked up racist comments or whatever, that person is still a person and they're going to feel away.
Yes, they are.
And I felt some bitterness come out of him. And I don't know how to tell black people who had this experience this because I haven't had this experience and it's easy for me to say. But it's just like I said with Chris at the start of the show. You're better off not even addressing it. You're better off not saying, I like short women because people take it personal and now it's become a thing. But if you just want to date a short woman, nobody says shit, right? The racism sometimes, or the reverse racism, whatever you call it, whenever it's like a black person marries a white person and people going on the page and talk shit about them like they did with Lawrence, the character that played Lawrence, the character of Lawrence on Insecure, they act like you're not a person that's not reading these rude ass fucking comments on the happiest day of your life, and being like, you don't start getting bitter for real. Like it doesn't justify something in you where you're like, well, man, I guess people are fucked up and racist towards me. I never said nothing bad about black people. why are you doing this?
Right.
Yeah.
He feels like he want to come out and be like, and then sometimes we do stuff to ourselves that's wrong. And it made me remember like, oh, they was talking bad about his white girl, his white wife,
And he
like a
just
month ago.
trying to mind his
And
business.
now he doing this thing and he still got it in his heart. It really be hurting people.
Yeah, that shit does impact you.
Yeah, there's a passage in the book where he's in college and there's like a media class or something that he's in, and the TA or the professor was like shitting on Family Matters and didn't know that Jaleel was in the class, and people was looking at him wanting him to say something, and he didn't say anything, and like he said, I wish I would have spoke up, because they were trying to say like he was a coon and all this kind of stuff.
Wow.
Where he was just like saying, I took that, like was it the Ed Grimley character that Martin Short created? I kind of took some elements of that, and I think it's another white actor or something to create Steve Urkel, and it was a funny character. I don't remember. I was pretty woke back then when I as a youngin', and I was like, he's not a cool. It was just funny.
Oh,
he was a nerd.
What's crazy is Carlton was a coon.
Yeah.
Like that was the role of Carlton on like, so it wasn't like nerd equal coon. There's been nerdy black characters all this time. Urkel was nerdy. He wasn't a coon. Like,
he could not.
He could. Yeah, he could. But yeah, he could dance. He had his own dance.
He dance.
But it is funny how the double-sidedness of race and representation, where like black person does something and there's just all this there's like there's some extra credit, like let's not there's sometimes where we're like, it's like black quarterbacks, you'll talk yourself into Jameis Winston because you're like, it's tough, he's black and he's out there, and that happens with some of the representation too, right? Like I want to like this show because I see black people, but also there's a bunch of fucking negativity even from black people when you are making black representation, black art, where it's like you can never be everything to everybody and you represent every flaw to everybody as well, and I can see how it would have an effect on some of these people that worked in this industry,
particularly young in that adolescent age.
Yeah, and we know so much about them behind the scenes now. So now we know Jaleel White wasn't perfect. He was a diva on the set. He wanted the show to be about him. He became an egomaniac, according to all this, gossip or whatever we see on social media. And we use that to justify saying something racist about him marrying a white lady. Like, like nothing about Steve Urkel's about that. Nothing even about that stuff with whose ego was bigger on the set, of these shows where the egos are all big. And there's always drama on all the sitcoms. It's not just germane to black people. But anyway, all that stuff to say, I think I'll give this a 25. I was more bothered by the revisionist history of everyone trying to hurt his feelings by acting like no one ever liked the guy. I was like, Family Matters.
Right.
I was like, oh, come on, man. You gotta do this.
Yeah. That's not true. That's not true at all.
Yeah, we don't gotta do this. It's okay. Y'all are upset and that's fine, but don't do this.
Because if you watch the whole thing or just watch the beginning, he's like, wow, I didn't know there were that many black people in Delaware. And I had just missed him. I was doing a show in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, like late last month, and he was at the venue doing a book, like pushing his book, making an appearance. People love that dude.
Yeah,
he's an iconic sitcom.
He's in the new Star Wars series that they're doing.
Right. I haven't
Skeleton Crew. Yeah, Skeleton Crew. Yeah, he's in there. Like, which I think is part of why he's doing a lot of this press lately. But I don't know, man. As I've said for years on here, black people as a community, we need to be a little bit calmer and less jumping our like bag and getting triggered by the people that have been not always given the brightest side of the community, and when they tell their stories,
right?
Because it's one thing for him, like if he was up there scolding black people and saying how we ain't shit, then I'm with y'all.
Agreed.
But if he wants to be like, yo, sometimes I got hit from black people with bullshit sometimes too, If that's his story, that's his story. If that's what happened, that's what happened. He didn't deserve that.
No, and there are Black people that have experienced that. And one thing about us, we quote unquote claim that, you know, we're not a monolith. That when somebody was like, "Hey, this experience,"
he literally said people think it's a monolith. He didn't say Black people. People think it's a monolith. So that, which I did find interesting and partially true, which is when you say which of these Black sitcoms is the best or the blackest, I guarantee you Family Matters would come near the bottom. Not because it was less Black, but because people start thinking of a bunch of different stereotypes and stuff about Blackness. It's not, it's like, this is America. It's not clean, the concept of Blackness.
Agreed.
So it, they cussed on this one. Now, why is cussing blacker than not cussing? But somehow it is.
Right.
And it moves up on the list. Oh, they was poor in this one. Why is being poor? Why is that blacker than not being poor?
Yeah.
So like, I think he has a point. And if you just say which of these family sitcoms is better, and you put Family Matters up there, but it's next to like, you know, the what's the, I don't know, Perfect Strangers and you know, Full House and all this shit. Somehow it does a little bit better because people are now just being like, oh, it was a family. They're not even thinking about race anymore.
Right.
Like, we're not asking what is blacker or what is whiter. We're just saying what makes you feel what's more of a family. So I think he made some valid points without us having to get bent out of shape. But maybe he got some stuff he said that maybe that's why and I don't know those things. So maybe that's why people are mad. I don't know.
Right. And
that's I recommend that book to your, I'm sorry, Karen. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I would just say I'd recommend that book if you were a fan of the show and you liked him.
It's audio book.
Audio book is worth checking out. I like audio books when it comes to memoirs, especially when
Chris. I want to hear it in their own voice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's start wrapping this thing up with some sword ratchetness. All right. I know we've been going a good hour and a half, and Chris has been very kind to give it time.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we always enjoy having you too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you want to play some Guess the Race, I don't mind pulling out some races. It's really up to your time and what you can.
It's whatever you guys do. I was gonna fold up some laundry and maybe watch some TV. So whatever you guys do.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's get races. We've been over here talking about Urkel and shit. Let's go ahead and take it to the next level with some Guess the Race.
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
Felony charge over dipping sauce dispute.
Black.
You just like the people that picked them other sitcoms. That's you now. Imagine catching a felony charge over Raising Cane's dipping sauce. That's what investigators say transpired Friday afternoon in Florida, where a 31-year-old woman was arrested for a strong armed robbery after she became hostile, both verbally and physically, after fast food workers failed to include 8 sauces in her mobile pickup order. Mackenzie Keeling retrieved her grub from a Raising Cane's in Clearwater, only to later discover she was missing 8 packs of Cane's sauce.
Somebody wanted some dipping sauce.
She returned to the restaurant and spoke to a female manager who provided Keeling with the dipping sauce. However, the manager, Tanya Herbert, we don't know her race, declined Keeling's request that she be provided with extra sauces in return for wasting her time and gas. I know that's right. After her sauce bid was refused, Keeling became hostile both verbally and physically and began yelling in the eatery, disturbing staff and customers. During her alleged tirade, Keeling shot out her right hand with force and struck Herbert in the leg. Cops charged. She then allegedly tried to tear the victim's keys and Cane's ID from a lanyard. The victim was in fear, cops reported, adding that the sauce imbroglio was witnessed by 2 Raising Cane employees and captured on CCTV footage. She was arrested, booked in the county jail, from which she was released on $2,500 bond. Her lawyer yesterday entered a not guilty plea on her behalf. Keeling's address is listed. All right. Guess the race, Karen.
I'm going black, but my thing is this. manager, is your last name Raising Cane? Because bitch, you can have all the sauces in here. Don't know. Right. This is not that important.
Right.
If you put like this, if somebody takes the time to come back, they are hot. Like not you. Like they mad that they had to come back. So yes, ma'am. How many more sauces you want? You can have them all, bitch.
Right. Chris, you sticking with Black?
I feel like I do, but the fact that it's at a Raising Cane's where my Southern brothers and sisters, I'm more of a Zaxby's guy. And I feel like at Raising Cane's, you have to have sauce. So it could be like in order for that to taste good, because it's not that great.
I've never been there. I've only had Zaxby's. I've heard of them.
So it could be any.
Choke on it.
No wonder she was so mad.
Yeah. So it's like I gotta stick with Black, but Keeling that could be anything really. But I would say I'm gonna stick with Black.
All right, we got 2 Blacks. Let's check the chat room. And see what they believe about the sauce bandit.
I want top flavor and I drip sauce.
Mustard. Black Raising Cane is white folks fried chicken. White is that Texas toast they be serving. That Texas toast is in quotes. Finger licking Black female. Black agree with Chris on the felony for dipping sauce. Sauce crash out Black and loud. Cane's has fallen off, but so that's not race. You and the rest of the nigga don't care. Okay, those are not the last 2 are not race. Anyway, the race, y'all said Black, except for one person who I think said white for some reason. Well, that one person was right. You guys were wrong.
Wow. Well, so that I had to go with what I went with the first time, but Keeling could have been sauces. I snuck some Chick-fil-A nuggets into the theater on Monday, and they forgot my sauce.
Oh, that's
but Chick-fil-A is good, so it didn't really matter. It was like, okay, a little bummed out, but
honestly, sauce on a Chick-fil-A nugget is just decadent. You know what I mean? Like you don't like it's you're overdoing it when you put the sauce on, because Chick-fil-A don't need
having them.
Yeah.
Do you gonna clap for
they are pretty great. But I'm gonna play the clap, Karen. I'm a professional.
Oh, my bad.
Good grief. Let me play the one person got it right, so you get the golf clap.
That was good.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've never been to a Raising Cane. Do they even have them here?
I don't think so.
I'm surprised they don't, because they got them in Maryland now.
Yeah, I heard they not good. That's her.
Oh,
it makes sense.
She's very white. She got that bright hair.
Oh yeah, middle band.
She look like she need her sauces.
Yeah, like a Harley Quinn vibe.
Yeah, she don't play about her sauces. She showed up like Mr. J want 8 sauces.
Right, I'm not getting my ass whooped because you ain't got the sauces.
Mr. J.
Right. Mr. J.
Let's go to the next one. Retiree who shot Walmart drone in plea deal.
Oh,
a 72-year-old retiree who uses 9mm handgun to shoot a Walmart delivery drone hovering near his Florida home has struck a plea deal that could result in the eventual dismissal of felony and misdemeanor counts. Dennis,
the person didn't receive a package because you shot that bitch out the air.
Dennis Nguyen will enter a pretrial intervention program offered by prosecutors that, upon successful completion, will result in the dropping of criminal charges. The PTI program, which is similar to probation, can last a year, is offered to defendants with no significant criminal history. He was charged in a criminal information with discharging a firearm in public, a misdemeanor, and criminal mischief, a third-degree felony, since damage to the drone's payload system exceeded $1,000. Yeah, they said he was arrested in late June at his home in Claremont, an Orlando suburb, after drone-up employees told Costa that drone was fired upon while it flew over a residential area. A 2-man drone-up team was in the neighborhood conducting mock deliveries to attract business and interest. Also, these aren't even real deliveries. They were just showing like what the drone could do.
Because that was going to be my question to you, Ron. Okay.
Yeah. The drone had been flying at a height of 230 feet before it dropped down to 75 feet. And to demonstrate the deployment of a cable to which a Walmart package would be attached. Wynn told investigators that he was working on his pool equipment when he heard the drone whirring in front of his home. After trying to shoo off the drone, he said he retrieved his firearm from a gun cell and fired. Well, that's exactly the way you want to escalate.
And you know they got it all recorded. They was like, damn it, our drone went down and we know who did it. Because you know that drone is probably recording everything as it's flying through the air.
He said on the police body cam that they say I hit it, so I must be a good shot.
They say I hit it.
It also captured his confession when he said, yes, I shot at it. And he also asked, how much trouble am I in? Like, well, once your lawyer sees this, I guess a lot. He claimed that he was unaware that the drone was part of the Walmart fleet and that he had past experiences with drones flying over his house and believed they were surveilling him. He did not further explain why he thought they were surveilling him. When the workers heard gunfire and saw Wynn holding a handgun towards the sky, they ran back to their van while the drone returned to a Walmart supercenter about 4 miles away. So he didn't even kill the drone.
Oh, the drone had enough power to fly back to the plant.
That's a good drone, man.
Yeah, they should have left. That's part of the test. They should have let him alone. He helped the test.
That drone was
like, let me tell you
I got to return.
If y'all are testing that area of Florida, it's gonna be a lot of drones getting shot.
It sure is.
So you just found out y'all passed the shooting test. Get back out there. Get at it. Walk it off.
That's better than an employee getting shot.
While Wynn says cops say acknowledge the reckless nature of his actions, he made an odd comment while the officer gently handcuffed him in the front. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. He laughed at no reaction from the sheriff deputies. Oh, all right. Karen, guess the race.
White, and you get a Jakaris for that comment, sir. Fuck you. I am fucked with.
Chris?
I'm going to go with White.
All right, let's check the chat room.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that just came out. No, what the fuck that got to do with you shooting a drone out the sky? Bet you voted for Trump, too.
It's funny because it's true. Oh, man. The Chronicles of Florida Man, Audacity of Caucasian White, America, Florida, Saltine and Jakaris. Charges dropped, stay in your ground defense, White. Did it wearing a backpack of Monopoly money, white man. Wiggity White, exercises his Second Amendment right. Trigger figure like Yosemite Sam, white bonus points for the handcuff theatrics. MAGA White, of course. Yeah, he was white. He was white. Like, I don't know the full extent of the article when I go to read it. So it caught me off guard too with the I can't breathe. And I'm like, oh damn, he just went racist as fuck for no. That was a George Floyd joke to the cops on body cam. That was a Steph Curry racism heat check.
And them cops was like, no, sir.
Right.
We don't think this is funny.
He looked like Bobby Knight.
He do, don't he?
Sir.
God damn. All right. You guys are 1-1. So
okay.
You got to go to the bonus round where everything is worth triple the points for triple the racism. Even though you guys did miss one. So you don't get the true more racist bonus music. Which is
not the more racist bonus music.
But I'll try to find the other version. Here we go. We'll just see this. Oh wait, here it is. I found it.
Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Script triple the rate. Script triple the points. 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 Strip triple the race. Strip triple the race. Strip triple the race.
All right, let's do this one. Texas influencer given maximum prison sentence for attempting to kill 3 people, including an ex-boyfriend in murder for hire plot.
Damn. A lot happening in that Senate.
Yeah. These influencers. I know influencing people to murder was part of it. Texan influencer Ashley Grayson is set to serve 10 years in federal prison after attempting to pay someone for the murder of 3 individuals. Grayson, 35, earned notoriety on social media with her online business and lessons, offering to teach others how to turn their skills into courses as well.
35.
Acting U.S. Attorney for the Tennessee District, Reagan Fondren, announced that Grayson was found guilty in the murder for hire conspiracy case Monday, November 18th. The press release states that in September 2022, Grayson offered to pay a Memphis-based couple to kill 3 people, including their ex-boyfriend. The other 2 intended victims included a woman who criticized Grayson on social media and a Mississippi woman who operated a similar business model.
What?
She was taking them comments serious.
To heart.
The convicted influencer suspected the latter person of creating fake social media profiles to criticize her work. The Tennessee U.S. Attorney's Office states that each of these killings had a value to Grayson of at least $20,000. During a recorded video call between Grayson and the Memphis couple, the content creator asked that a Mississippi woman be killed as soon as possible and offered an extra $5,000 for the murder to be carried out in the next week. Shit, them comments must have really got under her skin. Using police car photos from an unrelated incident, the couple convinced Grayson that they had unsuccessfully attempted the murder for hire plot. They demanded half of the promised payment and flew to Dallas to meet with Grayson and her husband. The Memphis pair received $10,000 for their fabricated attempt. Damn, the husband got in it too. In July 2023, a grand jury in the Western District of Tennessee issued a 1-count indictment for use of interstate facility and commission of murder for hire against Grayson and her spouse, Joshua Grayson.
Cross state lines.
They gave the Grayson the maximum sentence of 120 months. This is a 21st century crime where online feuds and senseless rivalries bled into the real world, said Fondren. As quoted in the press release, the defendant tried to hire someone to murder a woman over things that happen exclusively on the internet. And they say it's not real. So, all right, guys, guess the race of Ashley Grayson. Karen.
Ashley Grayson.
Yes.
This could go either way, but I'm going to go black.
Karen's going black on this one for Ashley Grayson. All right.
Yeah. And the thing is, but she's an influencer, and y'all know they don't pay us.
Chris?
I'm going to say white.
All right. So one of you will be right. Let's see what the chat room says. White fragility. This feels unhinged. White girl, white influencer in her feelings. White because she outsourced. Niggas pull up. She don't listen to Taylor. White, and black. So just Karen and Mon went black, and Karen and Mon got it right.
Oh, wow. Ashley Grayson.
Yeah. And Chris got it wrong. Here she is.
Because the thing is, I was like, that name sound white. I was like, this is some black ass shit. A hit list. I was like,
You got it, Karen.
You got it. I mean, at this point, race, you don't have to explain the racism. You were right. So you either get to be right or you get to not be racist. That was the only way that worked.
that's the only way you win.
All right, y'all. Last thing, sword ratchetness. All right, got a YouTube for this article.
Hospital after being shot by a deputy on Thanksgiving. This after investigators say they received reports of the man swinging a sword around children. This happened in the area of Boland Avenue in Shady Hills last night. Deputies released this body camera video, and we're showing you the moments leading up to the incident. Deputies say when they arrived at the home, he came outside with a gun. That's when they say deputies shot at him. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. The sheriff's office has not released his identity or any potential charges. The deputy who fired the shot that hit him is on administrative leave, as is protocol.
Swinging a sword around kids on Thanksgiving.
We can't eat turkey in peace.
Right. I heard of carving the turkey, but this is
ridiculous.
Some bullshit.
But Rod, is it really Thanksgiving if you can't swing a sword around family and friends, your loved ones?
What happened to going outside and playing both side quarterback for the kids? This man put out the sword on them. Hey guys, I'm full-time ninja.
I mean, I wanted to chop it up with you for Thanksgiving, but not like this.
Right.
That's great. Where's that sound effect when Karen makes a good pun? The rock and roll. Do y'all still do?
I'll be trying my best, Chris. I'm glad that was late.
Just trying to chop it up.
It's a different type of walk to they take that walk during Thanksgiving. That's a different type of walk.
The same one.
Get your fucking sword, dude. Chris, man, tell the people where to go see you live, man. See you perform, and of course where to find you on the internet.
Sure, you can find me at chrislamberth.com. You can find me on Instagram at Chris Lamberth. This weekend, I'll be, if any of you listeners are in the upstate New York, I'll be at the Comedy Works headlining in Saratoga Springs. 3 shows, December 13th and 14th, 8 p.m. and on Friday, 7:30 and 9:30 p.m. on Saturday. I'll also be at the the first ever Williams Center Comedy Festival in Rutherford, New Jersey. So if you're in the tri-state area, come out. 7:00 p.m. williamscenter.com. Google it and you can find the date, 7 p.m. on Friday the 20th. And I'll be around, hopefully making an announcement on my podcast and definitely on this one for something really fun in the spring/summer. So your boy is working. So I'm working. Come see me.
Good. We love to see it. Mm-hmm. Check out his podcast, The Mundane Festival. Everywhere that you get your podcast. I've been on there plenty of times. Karen's been on there before.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
And just, live show tickets, they are for sale. The link is in your show notes. Mm-hmm. JL Covan opening for us February 28th, last day of Black History Month, possibly the final Black History Month once Trump takes office.
Right.
So you want to come out and celebrate that with us. It's always a good time. The VIP tickets, they're going fast. They're going faster than regular tickets. So just letting people know if you're like, I want to get that picture with Rod and Karen meet and greet thing. Just letting you know, them the ones people is buying. Mm-hmm. If we really get like whatever, we'll try to open up a few more. Mm-hmm. But just letting you know, once they're gone, there's not really much we can do. Mm-mm. All right, y'all, that's it. Oh, and if you want to donate tickets, because I've already had people ask about that.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes, you can buy tickets and they will send you an email about a week out before the show. Forward that email to me. I will pass tickets on to people if they need tickets.
At the blackouttips
at gmail.com. That's it for today's show. See you tomorrow. If you're a premium listener and you want to hear Balls D Sports. We also did a review of Hot Frosty.
Yes, that was fun.
Podcast last night. That's it. So until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Bye, Chris.